Welcome back to the Fly podcast. Fly stands for Fulfill Life Yourself. And this podcast and even our business and everything we do essentially is about how we can take our life to a whole new level. Every day we're focusing on that of how we can really fulfill our lives ourselves, and then focusing on how to help other people get to that point as well.
Because whatever level you're at, whether you're struggling mentally or you just want to improve life and make it better and get to a higher place in life, it's all about what we talk about every time, and that is that by learning about your brain, by understanding your brain, and there's a ton of studies behind this, by learning about how it works, you become aware on a conscious level what your subconscious does, and by being aware alone starts to break patterns. It starts to shift things, and it can be with very little effort sometimes. And so again, thank you for joining us in our podcast and being a part of it and coming in, because this gets your focus on it every day. And by getting your focus on it is what's really going to help you to start getting deeper and deeper into helping you fulfill life yourself.
And this process definitely is a day-to-day thing, right? Every single day we're focusing on how we can get to that new level, how we can improve, how we can progress, grow, and being able to look at that process and see how it really is changing our lives every day. And at the end of each day, we look back and we think of all the things that we did during the day that got us to that point, that got us to where we really had a fulfilling day, that we were flying the whole day, we were just having this awesome experience. And so we talk about that, of how it is that we can get to that point every day.
And so today we want to share kind of a personal experience about something that we have discovered in ourselves, our own confining beliefs about doing things a certain way that has shifted and helped us a ton already in just a little time that we've had so far.
So we did an experience where we were planning an event with a group of people, and we were going through this process and had the meeting, whatever, and after we were able to analyze and see all the things that we could have done maybe in a more effective way. And so we analyzed it. Analyzing is our favorite thing. So we looked back on that experience and we saw all of the ways that we could have gotten it to maybe go the certain way that we were hoping, or to help other people see it in a certain way that would have been maybe more effective for the group's goal. And so being able to look back and see that is a very effective strategy of, in the future, being able to get what you want, or even just to get growth and learning out of that.
And of course, we're analyzing it using the NAP model. The model that we use and we keep talking about all the time is how we get into our heads to understand what we're doing and discovering what our own confining beliefs are around this situation. And this particular situation happened to be with family, and family is a place where you really get a lot of those beliefs to come up. Those triggers. Those triggers and those patterns, those old patterns. You've been with your family a long time, therefore your patterns from a long time ago tend to come back up.
They're all entwined in each other, and everyone's thinking certain ways because of the past, and it's this awesome mess.
But it's the greatest thing we have, because it helps us discover within ourselves. When we get around other people, we tend to put on this kind of show. We kind of have a way of just like being a certain way around other people. But with our family, we tend to just let go. And that letting go brings up those patterns. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's so many family feuds going on and so many struggles. But those are the key. They are the key to helping us shift and change and become the new person and find true fulfillment in life.
So what is it that we learned from this experience? Looking back on this whole meeting and seeing that maybe you've noticed that we were kind of like, oh, like we could have done it this way. And no one likes that feeling of this kind of regret, right? This kind of like, oh, but if we had thought about this before, we're going to get into that, and been able to see it in that different way, then it would have been a completely different experience. But not saying that that kind of regret or whatever isn't awesome too, isn't empowering us to be able to even be better in the future. And so it's all this great thing that we can always learn from, and that is how you can look at any experience in your life.
And so what we've experienced in the past is that we've had these meetings where we try to plan together with our family. You know, in this particular case, it was for a trip that we were going on, and it could be just, you know, how to function as a family, how to do things around the house. It could be whatever. But in the past, what we've experienced is a lot of tension and a lot of struggle between people, and people sometimes feeling like they need to defend themselves, or
getting offended,
or they need to make it fair, or all these different things around their own personal wants and desires and needs. And And you've maybe experienced this when you work with your family and with your kids, where it's like, why do we have tension? Why do we have need? And what we're inadvertently teaching that we don't really understand, I think that I didn't really understand, was that we're teaching these patterns of kind of that planning and communicating is painful, right? That it's something that we want to escape, like we talk about in the model, and all the chemicals and all the behaviors and the things we tend to do when we're in that side happen. So in that meeting, people get into this state of mind, that confined state that really holds us back, and it's ineffective. We start to go to places where we start to think selfishly, we think of external things, and we don't really think of the others the way that we really want to.
And because maybe we had those experiences in the past, we already associate those old past experiences with the one that's about to come. And so then we're like, oh, this is going to be just like last time when this happened and that, and it's not going to be this experience that I want it to be. Well, what does that do for your brain when you think that way? Then it creates that experience that you don't want because you already preset yourself to have that experience because you're like, oh, it's going to happen again, right? Which is totally self-sabotaging. It makes it so that you have that experience you never wanted again. And that's why it happens over and over and over.
And it's so fun to discover these things. And to have my daughter, this is my daughter, she's a part of our family, and she's helping and teaching me and helping me discover these parts and pieces. And she's discovering them herself. And it's just magnificent that we have this family unit and people close to us, and it could be close friends that you've had for a long time or anybody, but we have those to bring up these confining things that are in us, that are holding us back, because they're not just holding us back in this meeting. They're not just holding us back in this family.
Yes.
They're holding us back in life everywhere. Because imagine if in your life you associate pain with planning. And then what are your chances of planning? Mm-hmm. You're always going to be trying to get away from it.
And being able to look back and analyze that whole meeting, that situation, we realize that one small meeting, it wasn't this small thing that we were just kind of like, oh, it's fine if it didn't go well, or it's fine that it didn't happen the way we wanted. But really that it is associated with all of our planning and all of our family events and all of our family, whatever it is that we need to work out with one another and our relationships and all of that. And so is that small? No, that is a big deal, and especially to us, because that's one of the things that, I mean, who doesn't care about their family? What's the most important thing to you anyway in this life, or your life, is relationships. Whenever someone says what matters most to them, it's always about relationships. And so being able to tie that into this simple, small family meeting, no, it is a big deal. And so being able to analyze that and making that better and improving that, it's worth it. It's worth the time.
And why is it a big deal? Why is it a big deal that this one family meeting makes a big difference? Well, because it's the catalyst to change to all your future meetings, right? So this is the catalyst to keep us moving in the direction and to create clarity. And so your question is probably, well, what are we going to do different? Right? What are we going to do different in the next meeting? And it's actually really simple. It's not that difficult. And one is to go inside yourself and ask the question, what is the purpose? What is the true purpose of the meeting?
For you.
What for you and for everybody else, what do you want to accomplish? What do you want to experience? And if the tone of the meeting is defensive and it's more like fighting, then is that really what you want? Because that's going to create this pain that people are going to associate with planning in general. Even when you're not there, they're still going to be like, man, when I plan, it's just this anxiety and these different things, and I doubt myself and all, and you don't want that, right? So what is the true purpose? What is the purpose of planning?
And being able to remember to take that moment before that thing or that event or that meeting to remember that. Because in this last meeting, we didn't do that on a deeper level that we could have. And so being able to see, okay, well, that wasn't effective. And being able to then go in and change it and see how it is that it could be. And then being able to do that every single time that you go in with that meeting or having that purpose. And then we even took it deeper in having the beginning of that meeting or the event or whatever to everyone get on the same page of the same purpose. So everyone is in that meeting and everyone has those same anticipations or expectations of how they want the meeting to go. And so that everyone is having that purpose and they're going to get it if their focus is on that thing.
Yeah. And this is where we become vulnerable with those that we love. we open up and we share with them what it is that we truly care about and what we truly want. You start your meetings with that, it's going to change everything, right? And really going into what you truly want, knowing before you go into the meeting, this is what I really want. I want people to feel this. I want there to be this thing that everyone feels and experiences and that they get to be a part and and really emphasize and spend some time to start your meeting that way.
Because then when those triggers come up, you don't have that same just reaction to it. You remember that your purpose isn't for everyone to get in a fight and have those triggers and be upset with each other. And so you're going to be able to stop that old pattern in that moment and be able to see it in a clearer way and not just be reactive and then not having that fight or those arguments.
And this isn't just family. Family's a great place and a way to do this, but you know, if you're in a business or you have meetings, you're a manager, you're a CEO of a company, anything, this is a huge, huge key to helping people be in a state of mind where they integrate with each other, that even their vibrations kind of come together, and they're in this creative state and open and vulnerable, and even though they know that being vulnerable is welcomed, and therefore it's not vulnerable to just be open and clear and trusting with each other. That is a key, and if you can get a group to do that, you will achieve incredible things together.
And then making it so that the meeting is this fun, enjoyable thing that everyone wants to be a part of, that they're actually excited for. They're not anticipating or dreading or having these expectations around this thing that they're just like, oh, I don't want to do this, right? So being able to make it this completely different event from, in our experience, what we've been doing in the past, and be able to then take that even deeper into the future of how your relationships and the people, like, it's just going to grow and grow and grow. Your family's going to get bigger and bigger. You're going to have more and more relationships. And so being able to see how different that could be in the future for you, and how much of an impact that's going to make on so many more people, and how much fulfillment you can get from that, from being able to analyze that one small meeting of just trying to improve it and make it better.
Yeah, because imagine if that is the new thing going forward. And not only that, but how in everyone's head that's involved, they start to feel this more positive, or this more encouraging, or good feelings, or loving, or moving towards, according to the model, moving towards things as they plan and as they communicate. Those are two major life keys, is planning and communicating. Like planning and visualizing and creating your future, and communicating with other people at a high level. Like, think of how powerful those two things are. This effort to do this is, I'm guessing you're thinking at this point it's going to be worth it, right?
And think of how much effort you really would have to put in to get that result. 10 minutes. If we would have taken 10 minutes to get our purpose clear in our heads, it would have completely changed the whole 3-hour meeting, right? So that little effort, is it worth it?
And that 3-hour meeting could turn into a 2-hour meeting and get 6 hours worth of stuff done, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you could do that in all your meetings, and especially those meetings that maybe you have with those who are close to you, the people you really care about. How impactful that would be going forward, to totally have this state of mind that just changes the future. It changes what you do, and these things that you're planning and accomplishing start to just skyrocket. And then each individual who's a part of that goes home with this other feeling towards planning and communicating. And then they start on their own personal level, start to excel and improve their life, all because you took a few minutes ahead of time.
And then for the next meeting, they're super excited about it. They're like, wow, I want to plan this trip or this event or whatever, because the planning part was almost funner than the actual event, maybe. And so being able to take that to a whole nother level of maybe this planning or whatever is actually an activity that's really fun and everyone wants to be a part of. How would that be?
And how many of you in a workplace have had, like, what is it, the people say, oh, there's a meeting, or we're going to have a meeting with the boss. How do you feel? How do people typically feel in that situation, right? They're like, oh, another meeting. I got all these responsibilities. I need to this, I need to that, or, oh, I'm going to just be sleeping the whole time. What a waste of our time. Imagine if all of that was gone and everybody was engaged and everybody was excited for the meeting because they saw the value of it and they saw the progress and they saw what it was doing for them individually and the company and everybody, right? There's so many ways this is so powerful.
And if you're more interested about learning about this, we even have another video down below if you want to go check that out, about how we've changed the whole idea of planning. We've kind of created a new word or an association around that idea, if you want to check that out as well.
And there's lots more videos. There's other things you can see. And ultimately, the goal is to help you really give this your focus and to dive into a program that helps you get going. We have group sessions. We have intensive sessions. We have programs that you can continue on with. And they're all part to help get your focus there, get your conscious mind on, and break those old subconscious patterns and help you fulfill life yourself.
So we hope that from watching this video, you've gotten some creative ideas of how you can then go moving forward in your life, of how you can be different and really change those experiences of planning or those events or even just your family relationships, of being able to be that person that you truly want to be, who you truly are.
And you can see how this model in this one area of life can have such a massive impact, right? Just having meetings with people, right? That's just one piece of life. It's a huge piece, but there are so many more. There's so many more aspects and so many ways to use this model to help you in life to find true fulfillment. So we hope you'll join us more, and we hope you'll continue on with these videos and this podcast. We love you. Our love goes out, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you so much for listening.